In a state fueled by ambition and chaos, few people want the real responsibility of leadership. On April 23rd, I was appointed Attorney General of San Andreas. I wasn't the loudest voice on social media. I was a lawyer who believed that good enough just sometimes wasn't good enough. This is a story about how I stepped into a role meant for giants and tried to prove that doing the right thing doesn't have to be flashy to matter. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Hello, gents. How's everyone doing?
How are we today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. So I, in the red hair, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kelly. Next to you,
Nice to meet you.
on the that one right there, Sorg. Will you like raise your hand or do a little wiggle or something?
It's me.
Okay, that's Senior Corporal
Hi.
Sorg. We have Master Trooper Yuki next to Sorg, and then over here is Master Sergeant Bradbury.
Nice to meet you, man.
We'll
Nice
be your
to meet
details
you.
for the day.
Duly noted.
All right. Well, we're just kind of here for you. So you tell us exactly what you'd like us to do, where you want us to go, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. I do have, I got one meeting here and then I got another downtown. So, I think the guy I'm meeting with should be pulling up any minute.
Okay, no problem. If you don't mind
Yeah.
me asking, who are you meeting with?
Applicant for the state's attorney's office. Think his name is Jack Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he should
No
be
problem.
here shortly.
We'll, like I said, we'll follow you wherever you set up your meeting place. We'll set at least 2 people outside, and the rest of us will probably just hang out nearby.
Is that him walking up now?
Alright, appreciate it. I don't know, I haven't seen him in a few years. That looks like something he'd wear. As I live and breathe.
Eh?
You've gotten a little bit older.
Yeah, and you're very tall. What the fuck?
I'm wearing heels, don't judge me.
Uh,
How
you
doing?
have quite the entourage.
Yes, this is perks of the job. This is my detail up here.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. Yuki, Sorg, Kelly, and I'm sorry, I forget your name.
I'm Yuki. Sorg is the brown hair.
Damn it, other way around. Okay, my apologies.
Bradbury.
I
is
thought
the
I
one
was
with
the
pink
old one.
glasses.
Bradbury.
Nah.
Got it. Yeah, officers, troopers. I don't think. Is there a deputy somewhere in the mix? Maybe?
No, we're all
Negative.
troopers.
Noted.
Wrong again.
Hey, shut up. Was quite surprised to see your name come up.
Why?
Well, for one, I didn't know you were practicing law.
Oh,
How have you been, though? I don't think I've seen you since the funeral.
Finding other avenues of work. We'll go with that.
Understandable. All of them legal, right? Please say yes.
Yes, why? Since when have I ever done anything illegal?
Okay, that's valid. In fact, if anything, I'd expect you to be. You were usually the one trying to keep Mom on a tight leash.
Uh-huh.
So, first of all,
Mhm.
welcome. How's your drive down here? I'm assuming you're staying somewhere in Sandy, knowing you.
No, actually, I have a fucking apartment. Hey, listen here. Fucking time and age. I really don't want to work on a fucking farm as a farmhand no more, okay?
That's valid. Sorry, I was also responding to something in my head.
You're good.
So, I mean, kind of walk me through it. Like, do you have you been through the bar program?
Yeah.
Okay. And like, what kind of motivated you to apply? Like, what was... I did read over your letter, somewhat.
You knew I wanted to do law enforcement. Well, I mean, I did till I fucking hurt my back in a fire, but...
Oh. I didn't know that.
It happened more close to when your mom died.
Oh, so that's why the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of out of it. I saw you, but I didn't see you. Anyways. So, what would you do if you were given a situation where you receive a warrant, or not receive a warrant, I'm sorry, you receive an arrest report, and you go through the arrest report, and the person was arrested for theft, but there's, like, no listed witnesses, no number for the inventory on the evidence, just kind of basically the clerk's word. What would you do with an arrest report like that, or what would you do with those charges?
Well, it sounds like there's not even really a charge you could stick if there's no evidence. And just a word is shaky, especially when it comes to court. So, I mean, if anything, the charges would probably have to get dropped, unfortunately. Depending on if there is actual evidence that's just listed wrong. But if the case is there's no evidence and it's just no witnesses, just a verbal talk, that's not... It wouldn't work.
Got you. I don't even think Mom had a freaking security detail when she was deputy mayor. Or not deputy mayor, she chief of staff to the mayor.
I do not believe she did. At least not that I remember. Nope. I got locked.
Dang it. Note to self. This job involves a lot of walking. Stop wearing heels. Wait, I see it. There we go.
God damn, the brights on this thing. Jesus.
Well, it's a Leo vehicle, I guess, if you need to blind someone.
I'm gonna be honest, Jack, you're coming into a little bit of a shitstorm.
How so?
Well, the, crime's at an all-time high. We just had a protest pop off a while back, like less than a week ago, I want to say, that, I don't know, went okay, but wasn't great. I'm up to my ears in arrest reports. It's just like government trust is kind of down right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it back up. I mean, it's not entirely my job, thankfully. That's, you know, that's more the mayor and the governor's problem.
Yeah, well, you can play a part in it.
Yeah. Everybody loves to complain about the law and the legal system.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'll take any help I can get. But,
Yeah.
be advised what you're coming into.
Sounds like an average day in Afghanistan. That's a joke.
I mean, there's enough shooting to freaking... Thank you.
Nope.
Okay, sounds good.
Just stay nearby,
Oh.
Kelly. Hello,
How you doing, Miss, what's your name?
Collins.
I'm, James Carson. I'm the owner of Go Through TV. Nice to have you here.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Carson.
So, we'll just go ahead and walk back here and we'll go ahead and get our interview started.
How you doing?
Hold on. Mr. Spanky, that's my mistake. Yep.
Good lord.
Hey, you stay out here.
Alright, so, if you would do slash, sit chair F4, that's the only way to sit down.
Alright, I did bring a friend to help you, don't mind. He's just gonna, he's just kinda here to watch.
Yep, that's fine, yep.
Is the other gentleman gonna be joining us?
No, that's my cameraman. He'll just be recording the interview. We're gonna be live on the
Oh,
air, so,
okay.
Ms. Collins, can you tell us a bit about your legal background and what led you to pursue the role of Attorney General in San Andreas?
Yeah, and I just want to start off by saying, you know, thank you for your time and everything and having me. I do appreciate it.
Yes, no problem.
As far as what inspired me to pursue the role and kind of my background, I've been not a legislator. That's far from the case. I've been a prosecutor, excuse me, for the last 5 years out in San Fierro. And I've been doing that work for a long time. When I saw the position was open, I wondered, you know, I wondered about it and considered, but I did reach out to the mayor's office and the governor and kind of just talk with them and said, submitted a letter of interest kind of showing my resume. I do have a lot of experience with prosecution and some defense. I did a lot of criminal defense, but then I switched over to prosecution more recently in the last couple of years. Pretty decent batting average. I'm probably about 50-50. But with that being said, what inspired me was my mother was a state's attorney way back in the 90s, before she became the chief of staff for the mayor of Blaine County back when that was the thing. I don't know if it was or will be in the future. You know, she kind of led by example by taking small roles in civil service. So I would go and I volunteered for the DMV more recently, and I would do different things to help out around town in that way. But yeah, I just wanted to be somebody who would be connected, kind of keeping the interest of the community first, but also the interest of upholding the Constitution, state and federal. And that's fully what I intend to do in the position. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm here to be somebody who's going to protect your rights, make sure the state is doing what they're supposed to do, but not, freely, fairly, and impartially to the best of my ability. And that's what the governor's asked me to do, and that's what I'm going to try to do.
Love to hear it. Glad that you have a good for your time here in San Andreas. So, second question I'm going to ask you is, what is your long-term vision for the Department of Justice under your leadership, basically?
So, my one program that I am pleased to announce is going to be happening here soon. I'm actually just talked with the Chief Justice over at the Judicial Branch, and we're going to be opening a program called PATH, which stands for Progressive Action Towards Healing, I believe it was. And it's basically a program that allows people to kind of do community service acts as a part of restorative justice, and in return they may get a reduced sentence, or they're more likely to get a reduced sentence. It functions like a standard plea deal in that the judge has to grant the approval, but that's merely a paperwork matter, just contingent on the fact that the offender actually completes the program. So restorative justice is going to be a big thing. I want to actively be involved in doing stuff like this, honestly, and talking to the community and seeing what the needs are. Now, like I said, I have a duty to, kind of tend to everybody's needs, even the gentlemen, protecting me as law enforcement officers, and they're not just here doing this when, on their normal day. They're out there trying to help you guys too. So I'm trying to make sure that they're being treated fairly, their needs are met, and the average citizen's needs are being met, and justice is serving in a way that's functional, because it's been too cyclical in times past. I've seen too many cases of violence and different things, people just going in and out of the system, and they don't really seem to think about how their actions affect the people around them. So I'm trying to kind of work with what the law enforcement side of things is already putting forward, with taking a community approach to the justice system and just kind of giving them a little helpful hand along as much as I can.
Next question for you: what is your stance? I can't even talk on your prosecution. I can't even know what this word is. Discretion when dealing with law enforcement with police misconduct or abuse of power. Sorry, yeah, I kind of noted these.
That's a good question.
If we could get a 5-minute recess after this question, it would be much appreciated.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so, as best as I understand it, I will have to double check, but as best as I understand it, the authority of investigating such English. The authority to investigate such matters has been imbued in my office with the full confidence of the legislative branch in the governor's office to deal with such matters. I will do so with tact, grace, and impartiality, and I will try to do so in a matter that doesn't besmirch the character of any office holder. But they will be, dealt with in accordance to the law, I guess, is the best way I can put it, and the simplest way I'm going to keep it, because this is one I don't really want to venture too off the firm with, honestly. It's a simple matter. It can't happen. It shouldn't happen. I think most of the chiefs would agree with me that it shouldn't happen, but if it happens and when it happens, we'll deal with it then and there. But it's going to be within the confines of the law and the bounds of my office to the best of my ability.
So, just a heads up, we have the deputy mayor of Los Santos peek his head in. I'm not sure if he's gonna head back down to the the city hall and sit at your office and wait for you, or what's going on with that. I wasn't able to talk to him, but it sounds like he's gonna head
I
back
hate
that
having
way.
kidney stones.
There
Alright.
was another item, but that's been taken care of, so we're good. I just wanted to brief you on that, let you know that we did have a visitor.
No worries. I had a feeling you might swing by. Was it something like, you know what, outside, I'm assuming?
We were a little concerned. There was a pursuit that kicked off in Los Santos. It was up in the Mirror Park area. We weren't sure if it was going to come back down in this area, but it's been taken care of. The suspect, as far as we know, is in custody. So.
Gotcha. I'm purely yanking your chain here, but I'm like, do you know how nerve-wracking it is to somebody have you ask you or whatever? It's like, how do you feel like dealing with law enforcement, and then the lieutenant colonel just comes up and like, can we take a break?
I'll be honest, I didn't even hear the question he asked. I have not been paying a lick of attention to the questions he's been asking. Quite frankly, like, this is my opinion on it is I would much rather you be honest with me and honest with the public on how you're gonna deal with it, because at the end of the day, we're gonna butt heads eventually. It's gonna happen. There are gonna be things that we're gonna have professional debates over, and it is what it is. But I would much rather have somebody honest who sits in this seat. So.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
You know, as far as problems with law enforcement or whatever, I mean, I do personally wish that the protest over in Mirror Park was handled a little bit differently. It got a little out of hand a little quickly, just as far as like the police response. I get that being in the roadway is troublesome and disruptive, and not legal whatsoever. But sometimes when you have lemonades, you have to make, or excuse me, when you have lemons, you have to make lemonade. So I would prefer to see a response that usually, you know, gives a little bit of more wiggle room of working around the situation and to guide the situation into something positive rather than popping off things that can be taken as weapons, and because it puts the situation in a bad way where it can then somebody can get scared and pull a weapon of their own, and then it gets out of hand quickly when you could just let them be disruptive and corral them into, you know, a corner. So, like, there's times like that where I wish things had gone differently. But, really, a lot of the older systemic problems are kind of going away with time. You know, the old saying, si se puede. It's like, you gotta, you know, with time, I think things will change. Obviously, I'm gonna do the best of my ability to kind of help out, and I would like to see a release of, like a monthly release of some arrest records, maybe, if that's would be constitutionally possible and, you know, permissible. To kind of just give a little bit more transparency. And that's actually kind of another thing. I want to get reforms rolling for bail bonds related stuff, because I'm hearing, not through my office but just through friends and on my off time, I'm hearing some mentions of some gripes with bail bonds in the community, and it's not necessarily that they don't like them being there, but I'm hearing some people wondering, like, how does it actually work? Who are the licenses ran through? Who is allowing them or permitting them to do the job that they're doing and actually vetting them? I kind of want to streamline it and make sure that it's done within the bounds of the law, and so everybody can be happy and everybody can, you know, just have a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to cover it for today. This is Ms. Brooklyn Collins here. She is the Attorney General of San Andreas. We're going to be going off the air. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right. This has been James Carson with Code 3 TV. Captain.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you coming out, Ms. Collins, and look forward to working with you and having you as the Attorney General of San Andreas.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Eh.
You just walk like that one deputy now, though, from back when I was younger.
Which one?
The one with the really slow walk. Actually, Kelly, if you don't mind, you hang back.
Absolutely. What can I do for you? Sorry.
My bad.
So, run me through... Because I don't want to talk about things... I don't want to speak on this without being educated on them, right? What is kind of policy or standard response for protests and things of that nature?
So it really depends on where we're at, as
Right,
well
right.
as the nature of the protest.
Were you on scene of this incident I was talking about, by the way?
It depends. You'd have to be more specific on to which protest it was. Like, if you got a location or what it was about, I could probably tell you.
I think that little straight mirror that goes over into Vinewood Boulevard, but right by the police station. In fact, I think they started running towards the police station, from what I heard.
Yes, I was scene command on that protest, actually.
Right. So what exactly, like, went down? For the record, this isn't an investigation. This is a friendly conversation between you and me. What actually went down with that?
So, essentially, initially we got dispatched out for a 911 of possible protesters in the street of, I want to say it was, like, Nicola in that area. It was in Mirror Park, by the park. We get dispatched out. No big deal. A couple of us show up, myself included. Initially, it sounded like it was a protest of LSPD. We had a couple of LSPD units on scene. I happened to show up right about the same time as the first unit. There were about two of us that showed up around the same time. I got on my megaphone because they were in the middle of the street. There was a golf cart as well as several protesters kind of running around. I said, hey, let's get on the sidewalk, guys. Let's talk about this. Obviously, they've got a right to protest and all of that fun stuff. There's nothing that I can do about that. They refused to get off of the street, continued out of the park onto, I believe it was Bridge Street they continued onto. We crossed the bridge over. So, yeah, they went across Bridge Street initially. We took a right off of Bridge Street at the first intersection, headed up toward Mirror Park Boulevard, which is also Vinewood Boulevard. At that point, that's when it started to get out of hand. They began running in traffic, stopping vehicles. I went ahead prior to this on Bridge Street. We were still having some issues with getting them to pull to the side. We had one that pulled initially what I thought was a Molotov. One of the other units was
things very different very quickly.
Well, one of the other units was able to confirm that it was not a Molotov. It was actually a road flare that he pulled. But at that point, because we knew that they were pulling what could be considered weapons, I went ahead and I asked for attack activation on that. So we had tactical units respond to the scene, myself included. I went ahead and took scene command at this time. We were in the process of trying to contain them. The problem that we had is the megaphone that they were using was too loud, which it's going to sound really weird, but we couldn't hear each other on the radio. Like, to the point I had my radio turned up all the way up on my hip and my vehicle radio, and I could not hear people talking. It was just that loud. So what ended up happening while I'm
that way.
Oh, go ahead. One more time. I didn't hear that.
No, I was saying it's like, yeah, I can believe that with Jacinta.
Yeah. So what ended up happening after that? Obviously, I'm trying to tell everybody like, hey, get me roadblocks here and here and here, and if we can block them off and contain them in this area, I'm more than happy to let them protest and do their thing. We just have to have it contained. At that point, we then got onto, I don't think it was Vinewood Boulevard at that point. I think we were still Mirror Park Boulevard, coming over the bridge, over the freeway onto Vinewood. That is when we heard several of them start screaming that they were going to charge the Vinewood station. They all began charging the Vinewood station, and at that point, because they were a danger to themselves, a perceived danger to us and everybody inside the station, as well as traffic, I went ahead and ordered units to begin subduing subjects with beanbag shotguns, and not by any means necessary, but less than lethal means, in order to get them into custody. I believe we had 2 or 3 subjects that were cut loose that willingly came with us when they were placed into custody. We didn't have any issues with them. Obviously, as you know, Jacinta and James Johnson seemed to be the two, I will say, ringleaders of the instigation of everything. So they both went to jail for a couple of different charges. And I believe there was one other that went to jail for charges. I did not do their arrest reports, so I don't know what they went to jail for. Or at least I don't remember.
Also, forgive me, I'm not ignoring you.
No, you're okay. Yeah, it was a less than stellar performance on all parts. I mean, law enforcement couldn't hear each other. Trying to contain them was a chore in and of itself, and then of course working with the public because we had traffic in those areas. Granted, it was later at night, thankfully, so the traffic had significantly decreased. We still had to kind of dodge around midnight traffic and people coming in and out of Vinewood. So
right. Yeah. The narrative you get online is a lot different from the narrative you probably are going to get off the reports. And, you know, that's just something that comes with the territory and just trying to decipher.
Well, and that comes with the job. We're all very used to the narrative being, and unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, a lot of the officers out here, state, PD, SO, whoever you talk to, we're all very used to the narrative being spun against us. That's just the name of the game, and it's an uphill battle for a lot of us. I mean, I was more than happy to let them protest and have their moment to yell and scream and say whatever. I don't have a problem with that. What I had a problem with was when they began endangering the safety of not only themselves, but the public and my officers. And then, of course, they charged the police station. At that point, I have no other choice but to act in the safety of everybody else, including themselves.
Right. You know what, honestly, that should have been part of the pop quiz questions for your interview, Jack. How you would deal with this cluster? Because that's going to be a fun court case. Did anybody fight any charges off of that? Or did they all just kind of eat the charges and kind of eat crow?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I have not been subpoenaed for any court cases or anything like that, so I don't believe anybody fought the charges. I believe they just kind of took them and rolled over. Granted, if I had expected anybody to fight charges, I probably would have expected either James Johnson or Jacinta to fight their charges.
Right.
The problem with James Johnson and Jacinta is they both have pretty lengthy records, including violence to police officers and other people and the general public. So they don't have a lot of ground to stand on.
True.
But I believe there was another gentleman, Giuseppe Romano, might have been. I think he was the other one that was charged in the incident. We do know that Mr. Romano is part of the Romano crime, and I say that in quotations, but Romano crime family. But he's a clean and clear. He doesn't have any wants, warrants, anything like that. We just know that he's part of that family, so we keep a close eye on him.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, you know, it's like, I was thinking to myself, it's like, well, I have you here, and it's like, rather than me, you know, doing the song and dance routine for the camera and not actually bothering to talk to you, I was like, why don't I actually talk to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and at any point, if you have any questions about an incident or charges or whatever, feel free to give me a call or give me an email. I'm always happy to answer or come down and talk to you.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate it. Well, it looks like things are slowing down for the night. And honestly, I've taken care of all of my business here for the day.
All right. Well, if at any point you need us for anything else, again, I believe you have my phone number. If